Hello friends and welcome. I'm Cassidy Carson and this is The Life of a Writer. There's a little bit more of an echo in my sunroom with all of the decorations put away. I didn't even consider that when I came out here, but I just wanted to check in and let you know how my day has been going. It's been a quiet one. I decided I needed to take a bit of a break. I really haven't done much of anything useful today, I guess you might say. JT and I just got back from a nice long walk down at the Carson River, and we walked about a little over 3 miles, I think. It took about an hour and a half. Beautiful day out there, clear skies. It was a perfect temperature, I think, and I really enjoyed the walk. I really needed it to get out of the house like that and get some fresh air, because sometimes sitting around the house is not so good for the mood. Some of the things that we saw down at the Carson River, I had actually planned to do a video while I was walking there, but it was so windy today I didn't want to subject you to the noise. But I can talk you through a little bit, and I do have a few photos to insert. There is a section called Buzzy's Ranch that has cows, some very cute ones, as well as some older farm implements and signage that talks about the agricultural history of Eagle Valley. Now, some people are confused because Carson City is not in Carson Valley. Carson Valley consists of Douglas County, which is Minden and Gardnerville, and the Gardnerville Ranchos and those communities down to the south of Carson City. Carson City is actually located in Eagle Valley because when this area was first settled, there was an Eagle station up along, I believe, what is now 5th Street. There's a slight hill going up to the west of town, and I think the original Eagle station was out there. So there are a lot of birds of prey in the area, including eagles, so hence the name Eagle Valley. So the Eagle Valley area had quite a bit of agriculture, which some people who do not know Nevada would not expect us to have agriculture based on our high desert climate, because there are a lot of arid, dry stretches of land. But the Buzzy's Ranch area is actually right along the Carson River, which is the river that comes down from the Sierra, winds through Carson City, out through Dayton, and then out to the east. And it is very scenic, but not in the way that you would consider a river in the eastern part of the United States. It is nowhere near something like the Mississippi. It would be more of a creek to some of the eastern people, which is funny because in the eastern US, what is considered a mountain is a lot lower elevation than what we consider mountains out here in the west. For example, when JT and I took a road trip across country a couple of years ago, we crossed through the Rocky Mountains and we were up at an elevation of 11 or 12,000 feet going through the Eisenhower Johnson Tunnel up there. So it's interesting that the eastern US has a lot of actual rivers, but more hills, and the western US has more mountains, but fewer actual rivers. So the river that does wind through the Carson City, it does go through Carson Valley, Eagle Valley, out toward Dayton, as I said, and then to the east. It is a lot of what people would really consider to be a stream in the eastern United States. It's also not good for fishing because it's contaminated with mercury from all the mining in the area. There is an area farther along from Buzzy's Ranch. There's the Mexican Dam Trail, and there used to be something called the Mexican Mill there, which is where they processed some of the ore that was dug up in the area. So needless to say, the water is still contaminated and it's really not safe to eat the fish in the area. The other interesting thing that I saw as we were heading into the trail to take the walk was this sign warning about bear and mountain lion activity. Apparently there was a recent mountain lion sighting somewhere along the trail because they had put up one of those temporary little, almost like a sandwich board, the little triangular warning signs that had something about recent mountain lion sightings. So I suspect when they say recent, they mean recent, because it was a temporary sign and not a permanent one. So it can be a little nerve-wracking walking along thinking that maybe you're going to run across something like a bear or a mountain lion, but we have not yet encountered anything like that on any of our walks. We did pass the ranch that's right along the trail there, and as I mentioned, cows again. There were also a lot of red-tailed hawks and so many geese. I thought this picture of the river here, I thought those were stones at first, but they were geese. There was a huge flock of geese just lazing in the river, and a couple of them decided to take flight and be very loud about it, and they were startling the deer. So that was a bit of fun. It is nice to take these walks as a writer because it refills the creative well. It gives me descriptive ideas, you know, the beautiful blue skies, the hills, the bright sunlight, the smell of the sagebrush, the feel of the dust, how your mouth dries out after you've been out there for a while, the breeze, the warmth, the coolness, you know, all of those different elements are things that you need to refresh yourself on every once in a while. It's why it's good to sometimes take a break from writing and just take a day and go out and do something fun. And I realized yesterday that I'm still not very good at retirement. I'm still stressing myself way too much with my newfound full-time writing career, because I do want to be a successful writer, but really I also want to enjoy life. So I need to be a little less harsh on myself when it comes to writing. And I think I need to take more days to go out and take these walks because it does feel good. That's the other thing about the writing life, is that it can be very sedentary. And it's one thing when you're younger, but as you get older, I have noticed that the body starts remembering things that you did to it when you were younger, and it really starts reacting to those things. So if you have had any injuries along the way, they'll start to feel almost like you just injured yourself again. Back problems, you know, I have a broken toe, neck problems. I was in a couple of fender benders where I had some neck injuries, and those things definitely start coming back as you get older. So getting out and moving, taking a nice long walk, doing some stretches. I have to get back to my yoga. That will be a good thing. And not sitting at my desk for too long when I'm writing. I do know that there are some authors who are able to write while walking on the treadmill. I could try that and dictate, but I've never really been able to figure out how to do that. I'm a very visual writer. I like to see the words on either the page or the screen. It's hard for me to talk out what I'm writing. I don't know that I could actually speak a scene just, you know, as I'm imagining it. I could maybe outline a book that way, but I don't think I could write one. Could be something to try in the future, but right now, I think I'm going to balance my typing with getting up and moving around a little bit. So that's what I've been up to today. It's been a very nice break. Like I said, I really needed the time outdoors. It's always very nice to get out into the fresh air, and I may not look it, but I am a very outdoorsy person. As a child, I was always outside. I'm the generation where they would throw you out of the house first thing in the morning and you wouldn't go home until sunset. And I would do things like bike riding and swimming and roller skating and horseback riding and tennis. And I was always outside doing something. So I think my body craves that movement. I don't have the energy I had as a kid, but I could probably regain a little bit of my momentum if I moved around a bit more. So that's something I'm going to try to add as the year progresses, is more outdoor walking. I do have a treadmill, which if the weather's really crummy, I should use that. But go out for outdoor walks when we have nice weather like today. You can see the sun over here. It is after 4 o'clock, so the days are getting longer again. We're 5 or 6 weeks, I think, away from the first day of spring now. And as the weather warms up and the days get longer, that's definitely outdoorsy time, though it goes in the other direction where it gets a little too warm, and sometimes in the middle of the day it's better to maybe take a siesta or spend that time writing. So that was my adventure for today. I thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the few photos that I included, and I look forward to talking to you again tomorrow. I'm Cassidy Carson, and this is The Life of a Writer. Take care.